I was recently admitted into Ward 39 at Blackpool Victoria Hospital with severe pain in my stomach. Not knowing what this was, they wanted to investigate, so I was admitted for a few days. Being Jewish, I asked for a kosher diet, which in the main I did get, but then they ran out of this kosher diet. Unfortunately, they couldn't get any in time before I went home, and I had to eat the hospital diet. I wasn't really happy about that because it's not my diet. However, I did eat the hospital food, although I have to stress at this point, there are people who are so strict they would not eat at all rather than eat other food. A kosher diet is made by Jewish people. It contains the food that we're allowed to eat and the foods that we're allowed to eat together. It will be made in a kosher kitchen and brought into the hospital, and it's double wrapped. And the hospital, I assume it's frozen, and then it's heated up and sent to the wards, and I open it myself so that I know that my food is not contaminated by any other person touching it, which is not to suggest that there is anything wrong with anybody else. It's just if they're not Jewish, they shouldn't touch my food. The kosher food that I was supplied was excellent. I got something different every day. I will say that the kitchen made sure I didn't get the same thing twice, which was very good. The menus didn't bear any resemblance to what you actually got quite a lot of the time. There was one instance where I should have had a cobbler, a mincemeat cobbler, but there was no, there's like a scone goes with a cobbler, well that wasn't there, which I would have expected to have been. Celery soup, well it didn't taste of anything whatever it was, but there wasn't any celery in it. One breakfast time I got porridge, but I wanted a wholemeal roll and butter, but all I got was porridge. If there's no wholemeal rolls for breakfast time, it shouldn't be on the menu really. And if you're not going to get a cobbler, then it shouldn't say cobbler. Also, one day there was just a knife, a fork and a spoon. So the knife that I had to use to butter the roll, I had to use to eat my food, and the spoon I had to eat the soup with, I then had to eat the trifle with, which didn't really seem right somehow. But the staff had been so busy on the ward that day, I just didn't feel that I should bother them for the sake of a spoon. When you're in hospital, when you've had your treatment or your tests or anything, all you do is sit down and chat away to other patients, but you spend a lot of time waiting for something to happen. And the biggest thing that's going to happen is going to be the food's going to come. And you kind of look forward to that. Oh, I'm going to get my breakfast or my lunch or supper. And when it comes, it's much better if it's not a disappointment. With my insulin, because it's a mix, 30% works instantly, but the other 70% is working right through the next 12 hours, which means if I don't get enough to eat, my blood sugar will drop. If I don't know how much food I'm going to get, then it really is going to be a problem. Because it did mean on occasions that I got so little at lunchtime, I really did have to eat biscuits to keep my blood sugar levels up. It's not really ideal, but you can't, unless you know what you're going to get, you can't estimate how much to give yourself when you're on this such a long-term regime. The only reason that I'm saying these things is to try and help improve the way the hospitals run, or particularly with regard to food, because I don't think the kitchens do a job, and they do a good job, I'm sure they do, but I don't think they realise how important they are to patients. They really are very, very important to patients, and please let it be reflected in the food.